Major League Baseball card with Ramon. If you're looking for NBA and NHL, we've already done that. Just reverse, watch this in an MLB segment, then reverse back to the start of the show. All right, let's continue on here with Ramon Scott. We move over to baseball. We'll start off at the top of the game on the top of the order here. White Sox and Guardians here. Guardians here laying minus 123, total 8.5. A run cease against Allen.
Yeah, Tony, let's get it rolling here for tonight's baseball card. The White Sox going up against the Guardians here. Well, we saw what happened last night with Gaddis for the Guardians, and for here tonight, it's going to be Dylan Cease and his 5.5 ERA so far in his last 4 starts. White Sox have won just 5 of his 7 starts this season. White Sox starting to pick it up a little bit. We said they might, and here they are, have won 5 out of their last 7 games. They've had some pretty decent pitching, too, of late. Guardians, maybe the other way around. They're just 3-7 in their last 10. The offense still not producing. They're giving up a few more runs. They've been very, very solid at home for sure this season. I mean, they're still struggling on the road, no doubt, but Cleveland has been largely successful at home this year. And Dylan Cease, I mentioned 2-5 in his last 7 starts so far. Man, that's really a clunker. I mean, you're giving away. He's down already 6+ units this season. So I'm going to probably look to go over here. I see the total there on the screen having back up to 8.5. That doesn't thrill me. I wanted to go over as a premium. I did see some 8s out there, but the steam did come in on the over in this one. So I'm gonna still go over with Cease and Logan Allen in this one, Tony.
All right, Mo says go over total here. White Sox and Guardians here, as this one has a start time here of 8:10 Eastern time. Let's continue here on the rundown here, joined by Ramon Scott. Catch him over at Tony'sPicks.com. Of course, you'll get a top unit producer over on the site. All right, let's continue on here. Let's see, we got the next game up for you. Right now, we got Rangers and the Pirates tonight. Eovaldi and Rich Hill, not over the hill for Major League Baseball so far. We've got Rangers favored here again, minus 160 here on the road. With Dunning, they didn't get it done. Let's see if they get it done today with Eovaldi. Total sits here at 8.
Well, Eovaldi's been on fire of late, 0.8 ERA in his last 4 starts. He's 3-0 in those games. Texas, they're still running pretty good. I mean, they won 15 out of 22 despite what happened last night. Hill, everyone had a good laugh at the beginning of the season, but man, he's been pretty good. 3.27 ERA in his last 6 starts. Pittsburgh was off to that hot start, but now they've lost 14 of 19, but they did get it done yesterday. Hill on the mound today. Might see some good pitching here, really, if you think about the way Eovaldi's going. Yeah, the Rangers have all those bats, and they've been bashing it pretty good. Haven't gone over in 8 of their last 10 games, but I've got the pitching here tonight, Tony. Hill's gone under in 4 of his last 5. Talked about Eovaldi's stats. I'm going to take the under in this one, Tony, with the Rangers and the Bucks tonight. Did trickle down to 8, so I still like an under. Not the best price. Could have had maybe an 8.5 early. Steam came in, widely reported Steam on the over, so maybe the take back here, the reverse line move a little bit. I'm going to go under Rangers and Pirates tonight.
Ron says under total on the sharpest book in the world. Even juice to the under here right now. In this one, Rangers and Pirates, 6:35 Eastern time. All right, next up, we've got Cardinals and the Reds going head-to-head. Wainwright's had a tough start to the year. Strikeout rate very low, razor thin this year. Graham Ashcraft on the mound. Cardinals favored minus 140, total 10.5.
Yeah, but Waney did win one. They won one, and they've gotten some run support for him. He's actually up already units so far in his 3 starts, but it's just been 3 starts for Waney. But what happened yesterday? I was talking about the Cardinals ready for the more resurgence, get back to, what we expect from the Cardinals. They've won 11 of their last 15 now. All of a sudden, they're still 7 games under 500. But so are the Reds. The Reds were able to get it done, however, last night. In the battle of left-handers. So it's always been a disaster for Wainwright against Cincinnati. He's got an 0-5 record with a 6.75 ERA in his last 7 starts against the Reds. So maybe something about that ballpark. Played a couple ball games in there in that stretch, but Ashcraft hasn't been too good against St. Louis either. He's got a 7.7 ERA, but I expect more from these guys a little bit today. And the fact that the ended up not getting it done yesterday, I'm going to come back again here with the Reds as an underdog today at plus $1.25. What does it say? That plus 129 on the screen. Yeah, I'm going to try the Reds again after what I saw out of the Cardinals yesterday. I do want to give the Cardinals the benefit of the doubt, and the Reds have won just 2 of their last 8 games. But after what I saw last night, Cardinals, they looked a little bit disinterested. Let's try the Reds as a dog with Graham Ashcraft. He's been pretty bad of late. I'm real bad, actually. So we'll see. But I expect more from these pitchers tonight, actually, and I'm going to end up with the Reds here.
All right, Ramon here on the Reds again as a dog, plus 129. Got that extra inning win last night that takes them now to 8-0 against left-handed starters this season, Cincinnati. All right, let's continue on here on Game Day Picks. It's the rundown from Ramon Scott, a pick from every pro sport game today. If you're looking for NBA and NHL, we've already covered that. Just finished the baseball segment, then reverse back to the beginning of the show. Next up, Blue Jays and the Rays, one of the highlighted series from the American League, probably the American League series of the day. Berrios and Taj Bradley on the hill here. Rays, we know with that good home mark, minus 119 at home, total of 8.5.
Yeah, what is it now? 22-4. So basically, getting if you wanted to look at the Rays, Tony, you're getting a 22-4 team. Yeah, they're playing a pretty good team in Toronto. You mentioned it. This is one of the best series, 2 of the top contenders in the American League. But you are getting a team that's 22-4 at home, and they're minus $1.20. So I don't know. But you tell me. Here we go, though, with Berrios. He's been pretty good his last 3 starts, a 3.3 ERA. The Blue Jays have won 4 of his 9 starts. Toronto, they are struggling, man. I mean, we talk about them on the road a little bit. They're 12-14, but they've won just 1 out of their last 8 games right now. And here's Tampa. Taj Bradley kind of overlooked. 3-0 with a 3.54 ERA in 4 starts. Tampa Bay's found a little bit of rough sailing here. They've won just 6 of their last 13. But again, talking about those numbers, right, Tony? 22-4. I think Bradley here against Berrios, I'm going to expect them to have a pretty good outing. I know we talk about these offenses right now. Definitely both top 5, I would think, in most people's ratings at this point. But I'm going to go under in this one, especially see the number there, 8.5. Man, this one's kind of been all over the place, really. I did see it touch some 9s there, but nothing right now across the board. I mean, it's 8.5 all the way. I'm going under here, Tony, in this one with these 2 starters, Berrios and Bradley.
Well, it says go under here in this one between Blue Jays and Rays, under the total of 8.5 runs. Continue here on the rundown with Ramon Scott, Diamondbacks and the Phillies here. Diamondbacks got some offense last night. We got Ryan Nelson here going here for Arizona. As we've got Dylan Covey. He was, I believe, he was released by the Dodgers, picked up here by the Phillies. A journeyman who's had great struggles in Major League Baseball throughout his career, but he'll be the primary pitcher pitching the bulk of the innings tonight. Phillies minus 147, total 9.5.
Yeah, Tony. Are people sleeping on the Arizona offense still, or not? I mean, these guys are probably the most underrated offense in the league. I would think at this point, the way they're starting to produce. You mentioned last night they've gone over in 6 of 9 starts with Nelson on the mound. They've also gone over in 7 of their last 11 on the road. So Nelson, does 4.2 ERA in his last three starts. He hasn't been terrific. He's definitely been a bit of a money burner so far. But Arizona, all of a sudden, they're the hot team. They've won 8 of 10. The Phillies have lost 6 of 8. You mentioned having an opener tonight. Strom can go a little bit deeper. He's 5.4 ERA in his last four starts, 1-3 record so far. But for me, Tony, I can't pass up the dog price, especially what we saw last night, beating Wheeler, if you will. Yeah, the game went late. They won it with the runs late, but still, they came in as a big, big underdog and didn't seem quite worthy yesterday, even though I thought the Phillies would have the upper hand because maybe we're relying too much on Wheeler at this point. But the Diamondbacks, again, great offense. Carroll is really solidifying the whole situation up there at the top of the lineup with these guys. He's a really tough guy to do, and Arizona right now is that team, in my opinion, that people need to be on the lookout for. They're 8 games over 500, Tony. They're not necessarily doing it with smoke and mirrors a little bit, but here you have Ryan Nelson. I expect a good outing from him today. We'll see. I got the Diamondbacks again as a dog.
All right, dog with the Diamondbacks here. Ramon here at plus 136 here against the Phillies. Let's continue on here on the rundown. Padres and the Nationals go head to head here as we've got Yu Darvish on the hill here for San Diego facing Mackenzie Gore, the former Padre, for the Nationals here. Padres here minus 148 in this one with a total of 8 runs.
Yeah, and well, we always want, hey, will it be a motivating issue? Will that? Yeah, I think it might. I think Mackenzie Gore, a guy who, was supposed to be fast tracked with the Padres, and then he got bogged down in the minors a little bit. Had his own problems that he had to work on, and it wasn't necessarily arrive. He was looking to arrive early. That was all, and the Padres were looking for him to arrive early, and it never materialized. And then when the opportunity came, he was the one that was sent out. So I think the Nationals got themselves a decent pitcher, but he is 0-2 with a 4.58 ERA in his last 4 starts. Tony, but his games, pretty low scoring games when he's in there. Under is 2-7, 7 unders and 2 overs in his 9 starts this season. And the Padres, meanwhile, Tony, they're the automatic under at this point with an anemic offense. Last 26 games for the Padres, they've produced 4 overs in their games. And, well, you could say they have decent pitching. They do have okay pitching, underachieving pitching, decent starters that maybe don't get the proper run support, but they kind of fail in their spots. I've talked about them too much. I won't belabor the point because it's depressing. But in this one tonight, I think an under here with Darvish, 4.5 ERA in his last 4 starts. Of course, he's gone under as well, 2-5-1 to the under thus far. So with Gore pitching, a little bit of motivation there. I'm going to try the under in this one too, Tony. Padres and Nationals tonight. I got to sneak back here and take a look at you. Oh, another 8. Interesting, Tony. I'm on all these unders, and they all seem to drop a half a run. I'm not getting much value, but I feel like I'm on the quote-unquote sharp side.
The sharp side here. Ramon here, under 8 here. Padres and Nationals continue here on the rundown. Next up, Orioles and the Yankees go head-to-head. Good race here in the AL East. Orioles have been playing very good baseball this year. Yankees have got that offense together here with Judge back in the lineup. They're back home here with the Orioles. Wow, 31-16 on the year. The Yankees chasing. We got Bradish and Cole on the mound tonight. We see the Yankees here minus 163. The total opened 8s come down to 7.5 in this one.
And on the road, the Orioles have been doing it. And I love that, Tony. I love teams that get it done on the road. Those are the teams I kind of look for. I really like teams that kind of are mediocre at home and really do it in those teams. I like to ride into the playoffs, look at futures on those teams, but it's just hard to ignore. It just stands out right now. Yeah, the Yankees are 29-20, but Baltimore, you mentioned, 31-16. These guys are, already playing, nearly 67% so far. So just wild. And Bradish, a 1.42 ERA in his last 2 starts. Cole, look, He's going to be Cole. He's going to go out there. He's got a 4 ERA in his last 4 starts, but it's still, to me, every time I see him out there, he looks just terrific. Looks like he'll, have another great outing, I'm sure. Move has been on Baltimore, fittingly, right? $1.70 was too high, and now you're looking here at still $1.63. That's great value on the Orioles. I don't mind them on the money line here because the run line. It's down to 140, 138 here in the sharp books. That's going to get me on the run line. I might sprinkle the money line here with Bradish, but can't pass it up, man. The Orioles are just looking too good right now. I've got to take them in this spot. I think it's going to be a great matchup. A very good game, and one-run game wouldn't be out of the question in this one. And I just like the way Baltimore is looking. Tough to go against Cole, but I will take him here. Just because everyone, Cole, of course, is going to pay a tax every time, Tony. And you're like, well, he hasn't even won any of his last 4 starts. He has that 4 ERA. Yankees are still 8-2 in his 10 starts this season.
That's right.
Take the O's, no run line.
Ramon says take the plus 1.5 runs with the Orioles on the run line, return minus 138 here in that Orioles-Yankees game today at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. This is a rundown here. Ramon Scott here joined me with the baseball rundown. If you're looking for Ramon's NBA and NHL, we did that to start the show. So finish this MLB rundown, then go back to the beginning of the show. You'll get the NBA and NHL from Ramon. Let's continue on. Up next, it's the Dodgers. Well, the Dodgers had Stone up there. There's no way they could win that game. Well, they did. They won the game as the Dodgers are limping in with their starting rotations, with bereavements, with injuries. It's kind of the OKC Dodgers coming in here and on the starting rotation with the Dodger hitters. So we got the OKC starters again here for LA, as it's been prospect after prospect. How many prospects do they have? Usually you think they'd be a bad one, but no, there's another good one coming in here. Bobby Miller here against Spencer Strider. Usually teams have one really good prospect, and then when the second and third prospect comes in, well, it's just fade, right? No, they keep bringing in bring in the good stuff, Ramon. I know you hate hearing this, but anyway, the Braves minus 180. Total sits here at 8.5.
Yeah, you're bored me to tears, brother. But seriously, I mean, where does it end, right? You just put those that Dodger blue on, and it all changes. So maybe they should bring up Oklahoma City and send Oakland down to AAA at this point. They must be a pretty good team down there with Miller going. Yeah, Tony, the thing last night, I just thought the price was too good last night to pass up on Atlanta, but boy, especially because Atlanta's actually done a very nice job against the Dodgers of late. But I would think in this one, with Spencer Strider in there, look at that price. Well, what's going on there? That's a pretty big price there. All of a sudden, we just saw the Dodgers. We heard what Tony had to say about it. And yeah, if they have to go in and throw the kitchen sink at him, it doesn't matter. So Miller makes his major league debut. Throw out the 5.65 ERA in Oklahoma City. Doesn't matter. I'm not even worried about his numbers from last season as well. I think he had a couple of wins and a similar ERA. Maybe it was a run lower or something like that. So it doesn't matter to me. And Strider, all of a sudden, he's gotten close to a 5 ERA in his last 4 starts. So Braves win every game he pitches. That's the other thing you got to kind of fade here. The Braves are 8-1 with Strider on the mound so far, and they're favored by this price almost every time. So does have one start against the Dodgers in his career, 6 shutout innings. Braves have gone over in 6 of their last 8. Dodgers have gone over in 5 of their last 6. I tried to get cute and go under on the show last night. That was out the window early. I expect runs here tonight, Tony. I'm going to go over with the Dodgers and the Braves. Strider mentioned, his numbers might be mixed. The Braves always win his starts, and they are also 7-2 to the over in those 9 Strider starts. So let's take over in this one, 8.5. Pretty much flat there. I think over 107.
Ramon here. The Ramon says Dodgers Braves over total of 8.5 runs. The old school broadcast on TBS here with the Braves and Dodgers. All right, let's continue. Let's continue on here with Ramon here on the rundown. Next up, we go with Ramon here on the game. Oh, here we go. This is the pitching change game, right? We've got the Mets here and the Cubs going head-to-head. Looks like Tyler McGill will get the start. He was slated for tomorrow's start, but moved up today. Senga giving an extra day here for Senga against the left-hander Smiley. We got the minus 111 on the Cubs, total 8.5.
Wasn't even paying attention to what you were saying. I was thinking back to those Superstation telecasts. Man, those were the days. Especially when they'd play the Dodgers on those days. Yeah, so let's get everyone updated, Tony, on that. You mentioned it. McGill gets the start now. It's almost a carbon copy in a way, statistically, having him in there. Just goes to show you, I don't know. I think the Mets, for all these problems they've had, the pitching's been kind of steady. The bats have been a disappointment, I would say. But now the bats have started to pick it up, and now I'm not sure what's happening. Senga just getting pushed back. It's not a big deal, so McGill's going to be able to go in this one. Mets just a couple games over 500. Cubs, meanwhile, having struggles to a certain extent, but man, they're just giving up runs. They are able to stay in the games a little bit, but at least they got Smiley in there tonight. They've gone over in 11 of their last 12 games, so you really need Smiley. We know we always talk about it. Tony Smiley at home does a lot better. He does. And he's also got a 2.38 in his last 4 starts, ERA, 2 of those 4 starts. The Cubs are 6-3 when he pitches. So I'm going to look for things to turn around again here, even with McGill. I want to say even with McGill. Like I said, I don't think it's a negative or positive in this situation, other than maybe McGill forced to move up a little bit here, but I don't think you're losing anything with him making the start. I'm going to look to go under in this one, no matter what I said there about the over for the Cubs of late. I've got Smiley at home. I think the conditions are fair for this situation. It's obvious. All you got to do is look at the total. It's not, 9.5, even, it just goes to show the conditions will be just fine if I want to keep it under tonight, and that's the way I'm going to go. I'm going to go under in this one, 8.5. A little bit of on the fly with that, because that change, Tony, came in right before the show. You know that.
That's right. Right before the show, it was the last minute change here. Under 8.5, Mets and Cubs. Let's continue here on the rundown with Ramon Scott here. Join me. Giants and Twins going head-to-head tonight. Giants continue to play well here. Got that win last night. Pretty good pitching matchup tonight. Cobb with pitch starters with ERAs under 2. I wonder where Ramon's going with this one. Alex Cobb on the hill for San Francisco. Sonny Gray here for the Twins.
Yeah, Tony. Look, that's the other frustrating thing being a Padres guy is now the Giants are just fine too. They've got some work. They got their work cut out for them, but I had them on a premium yesterday. I know what's going on with these Giants, I think, right now. And I don't mind Cobb, of course, in there. You mentioned it, Tony. He's got a 1.4 ERA in his last 5 starts. He's gone 3-0, and we know how good Sonny Gray has been. I don't know if I've called him Sonny Gray, John Gray, Josiah Gray. I know these guys. I know all of their differences, and for whatever reason, Sonny Gray has found another comfortable spot in Minnesota. 1.6 ERA in his last 9 starts. 4-0 so far. So Twins have won just 5 of those 9 starts, so maybe the offense has had a little bit of trouble getting going, but I like what the Giants are doing right now with their offense and consistent pitching as well. They've won 6 of their last 7 games. Minnesota, winning team at home, 14-9, but they've won just 2 of their last 7. I'm going to look for a repeat performance tonight, Tony. Maybe keep that total under wraps a little bit, but we're going with the Giants here on the road. They'll be at 500 before you know it. And poor Colorado, right? Because these other teams are just dynamite. And again, Padres looking up at all of them pretty much. All
yeah,
good teams.
That's right. Giants here. Ramon here with the Giants plus 133 here against the Twins. So run down here for Major League Baseball with Ramon. Join us here on Tuesdays here on Game Day Picks as he gives a pick from every game from the pro sports When college is in season, we'll do a handful of college for you here on Tuesdays with No Morning Steam. Morning Steam returns tomorrow. If you're looking for Ramon's NBA and NHL pick, well, we did that to start the show. So just watch the end of this MLB segment, then reverse back to the beginning of the show. Let's continue on here. Next up, Astros and the Brewers with JP France on the mound here for Houston. Colin Ray will get the start here from Milwaukee. We got Astros favored -123. The total sits at 9.5.
Yeah, I just want to mention on some of these hot dogs, if you will, Tony. I mean, look, my baseball results are kind of mixed, but it doesn't mean I'm going to change the philosophy. When you see teams that are running good on the road, and they're getting some pretty decent money, anything over $1.15, $1.20. Those are the dogs you want to look at. And maybe they haven't clicked for me so far, but that's I'm not stopping. And those are the dogs you got to go after. Just take teams on a roll on the road against teams that are quite often over-favored. So here we go, though, with the Astros and the Brewers. And I don't know if they're necessarily, well, you look at the line. I mean, it's virtually well, it was kind of a pick 'em. Now the Astros are starting to creep up a little bit with their hot streak. 8 in a row, 12 of their last 13. So France has a 4.11 ERA in 3 starts so far. Colin Ray's had trouble finding his footing. A 5.95 ERA in his last 4 starts, 0-3 record so far. Milwaukee pretty good at home, but man, Houston, look, I think I've been on this streak pretty good. One of the teams I've been able to count on of late is Houston, and I tabbed them on the show about 7 to 10 days ago talking about it looks like now Houston finally ready to make their move. That's what's happening here, Tony, and I'm not sure I can pass up on them today, but I know you liked on the show. I don't want to tip your hand. You liked them on the show, and I'm going to give out the total then here in this one, Tony. I like it under with France. I think it looks pretty good right now. Ray's definitely got to turn it around, but I'm going to go under. That's a pretty big number for this game. Yeah, the Astros offense is starting to look pretty good, and Brewers have gone over in 3 straight, but I like France here actually, and Ray's got to have a better start. That's just a big number for me actually. I don't have a lot of excuses, but I'll take under 9.5. That's where I've got to go.
Ramon says go under, total of 9.5 here. Astros and Brewers. Remember, Brewers cannot hit lefties, so when France comes out, you may see lefties coming out of the bullpen. Just keep an eye there on that, because these starters go 5. Actually, starters are averaging just a 5 1/3 inning per start right now in Major League Baseball. All right, let's continue on here on the rundown. Joined by Ramon Scott. Next up, we've got Tigers and the Royals, a late line that has now been released here. Tigers road favorites, kind of expected that with Eduardo Rodriguez on the mound here. It's Mike Mayers on the mound for KC. Wasn't going to be Lynch. We thought maybe Lynch would come up here and get his start, but it's going to be Mayers to get the start tonight. Tigers favored here, -146, total 8.5.
Yeah, Tony. Lynch is starting for Omaha to one more rehab start. So they've had to make a little bit of a move. Well, it's not a move. Mayers is on the roster. He's had one. He pitched against the Padres. Didn't look that great. I think he had like 4 walks and two and change. So not sure. It's a bullpen game for sure for the Royals, aren't they all? Great point, Tony. And that's not going to change. I would think that will gradually tick. I don't know if we get much lower than that. What did you say? 5 1/3, 5 2/3 the average. It's not going to go any higher either this season or in the future. I mean, this is the nature of the game. And in fact, you see these openers, and I'm not calling Mayers an opener, not like Myers, but it is kind of a comedy so far with the Royals for sure. Sorry, Mindy, but she knows what's going on too. The Royals are now back to their old ways. They've lost 8 of their last 10. They're just winning 25% of their home games. They're not hitting either. They've gone under in 8 of their last 11 games. So interesting to note, though, Tony. I'll just note it. I don't know if it's sharp or not, but as soon as they did make the announcement that Mayers was going to be in there instead of Lynch, the total dropped to half a run. Now, I mean, that's a reissue of the line, but it was clearly at least, I'll say nearly a half a run lower than the 9 unders that we were seeing with Lynch listed as the pitcher, and now Mayers in there. And granted, Lynch is a left-handed starter. But against Detroit, I don't know if it really matters too much. But in this one, I'll look to that move, actually, and I'm going to take the under. Eduardo, just outstanding. I mean, how are the Royals even going to hit him right now? 1.38 ERA in his last 5 starts. He's been the best thing going for the Tigers for sure. Detroit just 4-5 in his starts, but he's playing. He's got the Royals, so looks like a pretty good spot for Eduardo. I'll take the under. Figure the Tigers aren't going to put up too much offense here. They've gone over in 4 of their last 5, but 6 of Eduardo's 9 starts have gone under.
Ramon says under 8.5 here, Tigers and the Royals. Mike Mayer's on the mound. Scratch Lynch back in the minors. Then coming up next here, we go with Marlins and Rockies. Rockies did the win last night here. Marlins favorite here at minus 115. The total sits here at 11.5. Yuri Perez, the young phenom on the hill here for Miami, facing Austin Gomber, who's had his struggles, but improved a little bit in his 2 of his past 3 starts. Marlins favorite here on the road.
Yeah, sorry, Colorado. I didn't mean to talk bad about you. I had him yesterday. I had him as a premium over this Miami team that's been one of the most profitable teams in the majors this season, despite just being a 500 team. So get another look at Yuri Perez, and he's good to look at, man. He's a good-looking prospect, no doubt. So far, pretty impressive, Tony. You figure in his 2 starts, he's just, put up basically 9 or 10 innings, but he has thrown 78 and 88 pitches in those 2 starts. I do like what I see from Perez, no doubt about it. Now we'll see. I mean, every pitcher I would be a little. It's like, sure, he's had 2 starts in the major leagues. He's going to be just as nervous to take this start than either of those 2 games. Believe me, when you're going into Colorado. But I don't know. We're making that inside joke, Tony. They are 11-12 with their totals right now in Colorado. Yeah, sure. I guess 11 have gone over. I can't remember one of them. It seems like every one of these games is a low-scoring under game. Like, is there something special about the humidors in Colorado? I'm just looking for excuses. Why aren't we seeing it like it used to be? Do they get different balls? Whatever it is, I want to see Perez. I agree with you with Gomber. 3.5 ERA in his last 5 starts, and had some of those in Colorado. They won 3 of those 5 starts, and so far in his last 5 starts, he did win 4 of those 5. So I think Gomber in pretty good position too here right now, especially against this bottom of the barrel Miami offense. So this will probably be the one that goes 19-18, Tony, but I'll take the under.
All right, Must says go under here. Marlins and the Rockies. It's the rundown here on Game Day Picks. Joined by Ramon Scott. A pick from every game here from the Pro Board today. Right now we're doing our Major League Baseball rundown. If you're looking for Ramon's pick from the NBA and NHL, we start the show with those picks. So finish this segment with us and then rewind back to the beginning of the show. Get that NBA and NHL pick from Ramon. Let's continue on here. Next up, Red Sox and the Angels going head-to-head. Brian Bayo, who's had some struggles when he broke into Major League Baseball, seemed to be getting together of late, facing the Angels. Griffin Canning, he's the one having the struggles. We've got the Red Sox favorite minus 107. Total sits here at 9.5.
Yeah, you could do worse than put your entire paycheck on Bayo every week. I mean, you'd be rolling in the dough at this point. It's only been 6 games. I mean, the guy has been 5-1 in his 6 starts. He's 3-0. He's just a 4 ERA in his last 3 starts, but he won them all. And Red Sox have won 4 of their last 6 games. But I don't know. There's something to me. I like Bayo. I just like him as a durable, good starter. I don't think he's anything, over good enough right now for Boston, and they need it, and they're picking it up. So, look, Boston, in a kind of a situation where their offense is producing, you get a guy in there, Tony, that can throw some innings. That's exactly what they need, and I think that's why they've been able to move up slowly but surely, if you will. As far as Canning, the last 2 games have been a disaster. Lost them both. He's been good. I mean, Angels have gone under in 5 of his 6 starts. He should be better than those last few games. He did have a start against the Sox before. Man, this one... I've got to think under, Tony. I'm going to trust Bayo. I like what I see from him. I'm going to go under in this one. Angels have gone under in 5 of their last 6 at home, and this number is 9.5. I've got to go under that number.
All right, Mo says go under 9.5 here with the Red Sox and the Angels here to start Major League Baseball rundown. Joined by Ramon Scott here. Let's continue on here. I think we got to the bottom of the board. Last and least, Oakland. Oakland here on the road here to face the Mariners here. Mariners, as you expect, the big favorites, minus 206, total 8.5. Medina, who's had some struggles. Gonzalez has had some struggles too, although the record's 3-1, but the ERA is over 6. As we said here, big favorite here for Seattle.
Yeah, and I would think, look, it's tough to get on. You couldn't even take Oakland plus, 4.5 runs last night. That's one of the things we have in the chat going is, we've seen some support from some of our members, and I agree sometimes, that taking Oakland plus 2.5 in some spots might be okay, but I'm not sure here tonight if it's going to be. Gonzalez needs to get back on track. He's got an 11 ERA in his last 4 starts. You mentioned how tough it's been. He's gone over in all 4 of those games. Mariners, what I want to say, what's wrong with them at this point? I mean, maybe they are just a 500 team. Maybe we're expecting too much of this club, but to be just 11-12 at home so far, I guess they're lucky they're taking on an Oakland team that, basically has won just 5 games on the road all season long. So Medina, 4.5 ERA in the last 2 starts, just 3 starts this year. I think Oakland's lost them all. I don't know if they're going to produce much here against Gonzalez. I don't want to. I'm not even sure I want to lay a 1.5, but might be the way I'd go. Gonzalez is a profitable pitcher. I'll take the another. Give me another under, Tony. If that's at 8.5. Yeah, I mean Oakland's not going to be able to put up much here. I would think they've gone under in 5 of their last 7. So Seattle's hitting pretty well, but I'll try under at 8.5. There were some 9s out there, so not much value left for me.
Yeah, you were seeing a big juice there on the over there on that 8.5. Ramon here under 8.5 here with this athletics. Of course, do your shopping. We're posting here the sharp. Yeah, we're posting the sharpest book in the world just for reference for you folks. So if you're seeing better lines out there, definitely open up multiple accounts and get the best numbers. All right, we got to the games here, Ramon. We got everybody covered here. I don't think there's another game. Let me hit my next button. It may be a game not scheduled. It is a game for tomorrow. So we got through all the games, Ramon. All 15 games from Major League Baseball. Now, if you're looking for Ramon's NBA and NHL pick, we started the show with those picks. So after this segment, reverse the video to the beginning and get those picks from NBA and NHL. All right, Ramon, let's take a look over at Tony'sPicks.com. Top unit producer over the site, 4,285 units of profit. All document over at Tony'sPicks.com. You can verify that by going over to Ramon's handicapper page and checking the picks, his pick history. Right, go down there, you'll find that. All right, Ramon, we have 1 NBA, 1 NHL, no day baseball, so still 15 games on the board for Major League Baseball. What do you have going on over at Tony's Picks?
Right now, Tony, a 3-pack in Major League Baseball, $30. They're all early starts. I'm going to be adding to this card still. Also, I'm going to have a couple of WNBA selections coming. Got to be honest, I didn't know if you're going to hit me up with those or not, and I was going to give out some premiums on the air, but maybe I'll just make that a tease right now. And even if you beg me, Tony, I can't do it. I need these premiums in the WNBA where I love to handicap those games so much. So I'm going to add a couple of WNBA selections on the card tonight: Connecticut and Washington, Atlanta and Minnesota. Also, check it out, NHL Conference Finals discount best bet. That's what that's going to be actually here as I've continued to study it. I'm moving that one to best bet status here right after the show. Right now it's a discount premium pick, but that premium pick is slowly moving in the back of my mind to best bet status, Tony, tonight with Vegas and Dallas. So that's the way I look at these things, man. The information breaks late, and that's why we have such great features such as the late steam here, Tony. I think you're going to be seeing some of that from me, especially with these 2 changes that we've seen, and now that I'm seeing some lineups coming out. So feels like a pretty exciting night for me, Tony. Just 4 plays up right now. I expect to double that by the time game time rolls around 3 or 4 hours down the line with the late breaking information. The King of Steam right here, the master of the sharp action. I know who the sharps are on, Tony. So if anybody has any questions, come into the Discord and I'll break it all down for you. Who the sharps are on? It's purely speculative, but it is a big part of my handicapping. So ride with me. The best totals on the board here at Tony's Picks as far as total units this season since the first of the year. No hiccups, just riding the wave, Tony, and that's what we're going to do tonight. Appreciate your time here on the show. Also got some embedded picks here on the site, including my sponsor video in one of the big games tonight, and also the leaderboard video. We've got a preview of some games here on the website as well. So I also have you saw above me there. Follow me at Tony's Picks Ramon. I'll find another play for you there. College tournaments started today around the country, Tony. Conference tournament action in baseball. Weren't able to get those lines into the system. I was ready to go, so I'm going to probably come into the Discord tonight with my college baseball handicaps that I've played so far today. Just weren't able to get those plays in the system. Hope we can get that rolling by the time the regionals roll around, but I was looking forward to some conference tournament action today. Already seen some interesting results. The games flying away here on ESPN Plus in the D1 conference tournaments underway. So that's part of my action, certainly coming up on the website at Tony'sPicks.com. Not to mention, hopefully, the Celtics and the Heat can extend it, but yeah, just a bizarre situation, and I'm sure the networks are none too happy about it.
Nope, it's interesting there, guys. So more embedded videos from Ramon. Just click the Premium Picks tab. You'll get the leaderboard video, and then, of course, on the home page, you'll find the sponsored video pick. When you scroll down past the pick ticker, you'll see the Ramon's sponsored video picks. So more content from Ramon. Of course, follow him over at Tony's Picks Ramon. That is the Twitter account, so make sure you check that out. Remember about Ramon's record, 4,285 units of profit for 2023. Document over at the site at Tony'sPicks.com. Use that promo code TonyT at checkout, and you'll save 20% off. And, of course, Ramon with his action tonight. MLB 3-pack on the board. Also, a best bet here from the NHL Conference Finals. So get on board here with that. And, of course, use that promo code to save that money. And, of course, you can go longer term with Ramon. Ramon's running. You may consider that 1 month all sports pass. You get all Ramon's premium plays for 30 days. That's all his remainder of the NBA and NHL playoffs, as well as Ramon's plays for Major League Baseball for 30 days. He's also in action in WNBA. We get into the regional action from college baseball. That's also part of it as well, because we do document those regionals and the college baseball World Series. So that will be part of it as well. Ramon is in action not this week, but the fall during that 30-day pass. When there's a UFC card, Ramon will have picks from the UFC as well, and of course occasionally some Bellator action as well. So that's part of, and soccer. Let's not forget soccer of course, as well. We may get some MLS from Ramon as some of the European leagues are starting to slow down a little bit here. So a good time to get on board here with Ramon Scott. Tony'sPicks.com. That 1 month pass, you'll save $66 when you use that promo code TonyT at checkout. You can access Ramon's page by clicking the link you see there in the description. Click the all cappers tab, you'll land right on Ramon's page, and go ahead and get signed up. All right, this is usually when I tell you about Ramon's Twitter and all the other content, but he covered that already. So we're going to let him roll. All right, Ramon is out. It's out.
I can't even just screwed up the whole format of the show. Sorry about that. I was on tilt from that WNBA, but just want to I'll add this, Tony. How about one of my most popular packages? I don't get as many subscriptions for like a full season baseball or even WNBA seems to be my most popular package. So I encourage anyone to get that. Maybe it's because of the niche in the sport. Everyone offers these other packages, but I'm in the WNBA and everybody knows my affinity for this league. It's obviously at its height this season. we're just 2 games in, and it might be the most talked about season ever so far. If you consider the start of the season, we see the incredible numbers from Griner. She's an MVP candidate, just 2 games out of the blocks. Now there are some other great stars that are above her as far as, but she's in the mix. I mean, it's only 2 games, but I'm just saying, she's it didn't look like she'd missed a year, right? She probably was dunking on them, even though they said she didn't even touch a ball pretty much the whole time. But that WNBA full season pass, $3.99, and hey, you know what? Check a look at the results, see what happened so far. But it's one of my favorite leagues, and everybody knows Mindy and I are breaking it down now together, and we had the videos last season. So that's what I'll throw in there, Tony, if I may indulge in your hour here of time today.
That's right, guys. So another option there is the WNBA full season. Ramon is in action there with WNBA. That's covered it. We'll cover it again next week. It was my bat there. I forgot about WNBA. We'll have it on the next show. We'll cover it next week. We're running out of NBA and NHL. They may not even.
You're right.
We're not going to have two. The NBA and NHL are not going head to head in the finals.
All right.
When you look at the schedule for the NBA finals, there is only one game of the 7 where there is 1 game of rest in between. The rest of the series is 2 days rest. So there's going to be like every third day there's going to be an NBA playoff game for 6 of those. So there's not a lot of breaks in the NBA finals here for some reason. It starts on June 1st, and if there's a game 7 in the NBA finals, it would be June 18th. So wow, we're going to take this a long time.
Like LeBron told him to do that, and he didn't make it.
That's right. So this is going to really stretch out the NBA finals. I don't know about that. I didn't see the NHL schedule, but they usually go every other day. But of course, they're not going to go head to head in the finals. So we'll definitely have time for the WNBA. So we'll have that on the next on the Maroons rundown if they're scheduled for Tuesday. So whatever's scheduled Tuesday, that's what we'll roll there with. So there you go with the WNBA season pass up there. This league goes through the end of August. By my recall here, 3-month league, right before the start before football hits us.
I was going to quiz you, Tony, because I had to go and see what's going on, because I use some of those streams. But I was going to say, Tony, tonight's game between Connecticut and Washington is on Monumental Sports. It's kind of a new one.
Wow.
For me, of course, that's it's like probably a DC rebrand, DC regional rebrand, I would imagine, with everything that's going on. And the other game between Atlanta and Minnesota, I see here, is on Twitter.
On Twitter.
Right, I'm down with that.
It used to be on Facebook. Now they're on Twitter. All right, there you go. They got a better deal from Twitter. Old Elon there gave him a little bit more money, obviously. So there you go, Ramon. That WNBA pass, so get on board with it. That promo code Tony T would save you $80 off that WNBA season pass. So go ahead and get signed up. All right, Ramon, as always, great having you on the show. Keep up that great work. We'll catch up with you again tomorrow. We'll tune in Morning Steam. You're back with Mindy at 9 a.m. Eastern Time.
All right, hopefully I wasn't too crazy and we got some winners.
That's right. Get the winners. Ron Scott here on Game.